Hello, my dear friends. Imagine walking through the sun-drenched fields of ancient Greece, the air thick with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers. As you stroll, the warm glow of the golden sun kisses your skin, and bees hum busily around the vibrant blossoms, their tiny bodies laden with nature's nectar. You might think, what a peaceful tableau of health and harmony. But hold on, this idyllic scene harbors deeper secrets about how the ancients viewed healing and the bizarre practices they engaged in. You probably won't survive this historical journey without a few surprises unfolding. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Picture yourself nestled in a cozy corner, perhaps with a cup of tea, as you prepare to explore the fascinating and somewhat sticky world of honey in ancient medicine. It's a world where sweetness met the harsh realities of medical practices that would leave us scratching our heads today. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Honey has been celebrated since time immemorial, cherished not only for its delectable sweetness but also for its reputed prowess as a healing agent. In ancient Greece, this golden syrup was more than just a treat, it was an integral part of their understanding of health and medicine. The Greeks viewed honey as a divine gift, imbued with properties that could heal wounds, soothe ailments, and even nourish the body. Imagine being a Greek physician bustling about, armed with your knowledge of the healing arts, which were part science and part mysticism. You might find yourself prescribing honey for various ailments, believing wholeheartedly in its capabilities. Honey was often mixed into remedies, stirring the sweet elixir into concoctions meant to treat everything from sore throats to wounds. This elevated status, however, glosses over a world where this understanding of medicine was still in its infancy, relying on observations that seem quaint, if not outright strange, to our modern sensibilities. Yet, just beneath this glamorous image lies a shocking reality. The medical landscape of ancient Greece was riddled with practices that seem bizarre today. For instance, while honey was adored, other remedies could be downright grotesque. Picture this: a physician might prescribe a mixture of honey and animal dung, believing it would draw out infections. Yes, that's right, what would you think if your doctor suggested such a thing today? The juxtaposition here is striking. One moment, honey is revered as a miracle cure, and the next moment, it finds itself in a recipe that would make any modern person recoil in horror. Why did such contrasts exist? The ancient Greeks operated under a different understanding of health and illness. They believed in the balance of bodily humours: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Each humour had to be balanced for optimal health, and honey was seen as a powerful agent in this delicate equation. Sweetness was associated with nourishment and health, and honey fit perfectly into their worldview. It was a tangible representation of nature's bounty, a direct link to the divine through the labour of bees, which were often associated with various deities. Furthermore, the Greeks had a penchant for the poetic, and honey's golden hue and alluring taste found its way into their literature and philosophy. The notion of sweetness was not merely a sensory experience, but also a metaphor for life itself. In their eyes, consuming honey was akin to ingesting the very essence of sweetness, vitality, and health, further reinforcing its status. As you continue to immerse yourself in this world, picture the ancient Greeks bustling about their lives, honey in hand. Perhaps they dipped their bread in it or drizzled it over fresh fruits, weaving sweetness into their daily rituals. And while they celebrated this remarkable substance, they remained blissfully unaware of the microbial dangers lurking in their prized elixir. Honey, while it has natural antibacterial properties, can also be a carrier for botulism spores, especially in unprocessed forms. This is a stark reminder that not all natural things are inherently safe, a realization that might send shivers down your spine. The allure of honey in ancient Greece was undeniably powerful, but its use also called attention to how fragile the line is between healing and harm. The Greeks may have basked in the sweetness of their beliefs, but they were also navigating a world filled with unknowns, where the science of healing was still taking shape. And so you find yourself drawn deeper into the sticky narrative that reveals how honey was intertwined in the fabric of ancient Greek society, not just as a remedy, but as a symbol of health and vitality, cloaked in both admiration and the bizarre practices that accompanied it. With each layer peeled back, you learn that honey was a double-edged sword, embodying the best and worst of their medical lore. As you begin to grasp this intricate dance between the sweetness of honey and the stark realities of ancient healing, you can see how the story is far from over, as we venture into the specific methods the Greeks employed to heal using this golden gift. In the midst of ancient Greek civilization, honey radiated a golden glow, illuminating not just the tables of the wealthy but also the makeshift clinics of local healers. Picture the bustling agora, a vibrant marketplace where citizens exchanged goods and ideas, while honey vendors hawked their wares. As you navigate this lively scene, you can almost taste the rich sweetness in the air, a sensory experience that beckons you closer. The allure of honey was profound, with its reputation as a cure-all attracting people from all walks of life. But the glamour of honey's image begs the question, was it all just sweet talk? On the surface, honey appeared to be the perfect medicine, and the ancient Greeks certainly thought so. They believed that honey held divine properties, a gift from the gods, resonating with both health and purity. The term honey itself evokes images of lush landscapes and bountiful harvests, a hallmark of ancient prosperity. From Homer's epics to the works of Hippocrates, honey occupied a prominent place in cultural narratives, celebrated for its sweetness and medicinal value. It was lauded for its ability to heal wounds, soothe coughs, and even act as a balm for digestive issues. This glamorous image of honey as a panacea, however, reveals the stark contrast between perception and reality. Behind the shimmering facade lay a different truth. While honey was indeed beneficial, its use was often fraught with ignorance and crude practices. For example, when treating wounds, Greeks would apply honey directly, which seems reasonable enough until you consider the state of hygiene. Imagine a battlefield medic slathering honey over a gaping wound, unaware that the very hands used to scoop it out might not have seen water in days. The juxtaposition of honey's sweet, healing properties against the unsanitary conditions of the time paints a picture that is less than glamorous. The allure of honey also blinded many to its limitations, leading to the overuse of this natural remedy. In their eagerness to embrace the sweetness, healers sometimes resorted to using honey in ways that seem absurd to us today. For instance, it was not uncommon for honey to be mixed with various animal products, creating concoctions that were just as likely to cause harm as to heal. The shocking reality here is that while honey can be an effective antibacterial agent, it was sometimes paired with substances that could lead to infections or exacerbate existing health issues. Why did such practices persist? The ancient Greeks had a different mindset regarding health. They believed in the healing power of nature, often attributing miraculous properties to natural substances without a complete understanding of their effects. Honey was wildly popular and regarded as an elixir of life, which led to its overestimation in treating severe ailments. The lack of scientific knowledge meant that the line between remedy and risk was often blurred, leaving patients to gamble with their health. As you delve deeper into this world, imagine the physicians and healers of ancient Greece armed with their rudimentary tools and knowledge, presenting honey as the ultimate treatment. They were revered for their skills, their knowledge passed down through generations, yet their understanding of germs and hygiene was non-existent. Honey's sweet allure made it an easy choice, a comforting substance that felt safe and familiar. The irony lies in the fact that while honey was celebrated as a healing agent, the methods of applying it could be quite hazardous. The Greeks were not alone in their admiration for honey. Many ancient cultures revered this substance, but each had its unique interpretations of its medicinal properties. From the Egyptians, who used honey in embalming practices, to the Chinese, who recognized its healing potential, honey's reputation extended beyond Greece's borders. The shared reverence for honey across cultures underscores a universal truth. Its sweetness symbolized health, vitality, and a deep connection to the earth. Yet, as you sift through the layers of admiration, you must also confront the reality that honey was part of a medical tapestry woven with threads of superstition and limited understanding. The glamorous image of honey as a cure-all was often just that, an image, a representation of hope in a world filled with uncertainty. So, as you reflect on the extravagant claims surrounding honey, you may find yourself considering how such beliefs shaped not only the practices of healing but also the overall understanding of health in ancient Greece. The sweetness of honey provided a comforting fade, but behind it lurked a complex interplay of knowledge, belief, and the ever-present risk of medical misadventure. With the glamorous allure of honey's reputation established, it becomes essential to explore the specific healing practices employed by the ancient Greeks. You'll soon find that honey was not just an ingredient, it was a key player in a larger narrative of health and healing, shaping the lives of those who revered it. As we drift deeper into the world of ancient Greek medicine, the role of honey becomes more pronounced, serving not merely as a sweetener but as a cornerstone of health practices. Imagine stepping into a small, rustic healing space, where the air is thick with the scent of herbs and the flickering light casts shadows on walls adorned with scrolls of medical knowledge. Here, healers stand ready to dispense remedies that often merge the mystical with the practical, and honey, that golden elixir, features prominently in their arsenal. But as you delve into these practices, remember that the line between healing and superstition was often a delicate one. In ancient Greece, honey was utilized in various treatments, from soothing sore throats to healing wounds. The glamour of this sweet substance was closely tied to the belief that it could imbue vitality and strength. Honey's reputed ability to heal was not only based on its natural properties, but also on the cultural narratives that surrounded it. Healers would frequently mix honey with other ingredients, showcasing a magical concoction that promised recovery and relief. For instance, honey was often blended with vinegar and used to treat respiratory ailments, invoking a sense of hope for those suffering. However, the shocking reality lies in the fact that many of these remedies lacked the scientific rigor we expect today. Consider the treatment of wounds with honey. While it could be beneficial due to its antibacterial properties, the application methods were often primitive. In an era where sterilization was non-existent, the very act of applying honey to an open wound could introduce harmful bacteria instead of healing it. It's as if the ancients were playing a game of medical roulette, where the outcomes were uncertain and the stakes were high. The belief in honey's healing prowess did not always align with the practical realities of hygiene and infection. As you navigate through these ancient practices, picture the healer's hands, perhaps stained with honey and herbs, as they prepare their mixtures. The admiration for honey sometimes overshadowed the need for cleanliness and proper medical procedure. The Greeks revered natural remedies, viewing them as gifts from the gods. They believed that honey was infused with divine energy, capable of transcending mere food to become a source of medicinal magic. This belief gave rise to a culture that relied heavily on natural substances, often overlooking the potential dangers lurking within. Moreover, honey's use extended beyond mere physical ailments. It also served psychological and spiritual purposes. The Greeks believed that honey could purify the spirit and soothe the soul. Honey was used in rituals and offerings, reinforcing its status as a sacred substance. Imagine a priestess, adorned in flowing robes, pouring honey over sacred stones, invoking blessings for health and harmony. This practice highlights the beautiful illusion of honey as both a tangible remedy and an intangible symbol of hope. The Greeks entwined their health practices with their spirituality, believing that wellness was a holistic endeavor. Yet, beneath the surface, one must confront the stark reality that such practices could easily become conflated with superstition. Consider also the medical texts that document these practices, often serving as the primary source of knowledge for healers. Works attributed to Hippocrates, the father of medicine, frequently mention honey, showcasing its significance in the medical canon. Yet, these texts, while revered, reflect the limitations of understanding at the time. Many remedies included honey as a primary ingredient, but they often lacked empirical evidence. The shocking truth here is that while these texts were treated as sacred, they were often based on anecdotal observations rather than rigorous experimentation. The glamorous image of ancient Greek medicine, steeped in tradition and authority, conceals the fact that much of their practice was speculative at best. As the narrative unfolds, you may find yourself questioning the efficacy of these ancient remedies. Did honey work its magic, or was it simply a placebo effect driven by the power of belief? The tantalizing idea that honey could cure ailments allowed people to cling to hope in a world filled with uncertainties. The Greeks often relied on their interpretations of nature and the cosmos, weaving a narrative where honey became a symbol of health and healing. In understanding the role of honey in ancient Greek medicine, it becomes clear that its use was deeply intertwined with cultural beliefs, spirituality, and the limited medical knowledge of the time. The glamour of honey is not just in its taste but also in the stories that accompany it, shaping the way ancient Greeks understood their bodies and health. Yet, as we peel back the layers, we see the contrast between the reverence for honey and the sometimes reckless abandon with which it was applied. With this exploration of healing practices in mind, you might find it enlightening to examine the chemical properties of honey. What is it about this sticky substance that made it so highly regarded in the medical realm? This inquiry will lead us into the fascinating realm of science where ancient wisdom meets modern understanding, and where we can uncover the true nature of honey's healing powers. As you continue your exploration into the world of ancient Greek medicine, let's pause and delve into the science behind honey, an age-old cure that not only tantalized the palate but also intrigued the minds of healers. Imagine a bee, fluttering from flower to flower, collecting nectar to create a substance that would transcend generations as a symbol of health and vitality. Honey's golden hue and luscious texture hide an intricate chemical composition that contributes to its medicinal reputation. As we peer beneath the surface, the contrast between honey's glamorous fade and its scientific underpinnings reveals a fascinating story. Honey is primarily composed of sugars, mainly fructose and glucose, which give it that delightful sweetness. But what may surprise you is its natural composition of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that have earned it a place in the medical cabinets of many ancient cultures. including the Greeks. The glamorous allure of honey stems not only from its taste, but also from these properties that support overall health. Antioxidants are essential for combating oxidative stress, helping to prevent cellular damage and contributing to longevity. So, when ancient Greeks praised honey, they were not just indulging in sweetness, they were embracing a substance that could genuinely bolster their well-being. However, juxtaposed with this interesting picture lies the shocking reality that honey's benefits were often misunderstood or overstated. For example, while honey is indeed antibacterial, the effectiveness of honey as a treatment largely depends on its quality and purity. The ancient Greeks, like many cultures before and after, faced challenges regarding the source and handling of honey. Imagine a bustling marketplace where honey is sold in clay jars, each vendor boasting of their product's superiority. The truth is, without modern testing, the purity of honey could vary dramatically, leading to a situation where the supposed healing powers might be diluted or worse, contaminated. In the ancient Greek worldview, the connection between health and nature was profound. Honey was thought to possess divine qualities, reinforced by its association with the gods, particularly in the context of healing. This belief made the Greeks more inclined to attribute miraculous properties to honey, often overlooking the practical limitations. The apothecaries of the time, while skilled in their own right, had limited access to the scientific understanding of microbiology and pharmacology that we enjoy today. They operated under the belief that honey's sweetness equated to safety, leading to a range of applications that, while well-intentioned, sometimes crossed into the territory of the bizarre. For instance, honey was often recommended for treating internal ailments, such as digestive issues or fevers, by mixing it with various herbs and natural substances. While some combinations may have had merit, others were simply concocted based on tradition rather than an understanding of their effects. Picture a healer stirring honey into a potion alongside a handful of dried herbs, pouring their hopes and aspirations into every mix. The ancient practice of blending honey with other ingredients reflected a deep-seated belief in natural remedies, but frequently lacked the precision that modern medicine demands. Furthermore, the Greeks believed in the concept of humours, where balance was essential for good health. Honey was thus incorporated into dietary practices aimed at achieving this harmony. The idea was that by consuming honey, one could align their body with the cosmic order, a glamorous notion that elevated the role of honey from mere sustenance to a tool of spiritual and physical balance. This perspective frames honey not only as a medicinal remedy but also as a dietary staple contributing to one's overall health. Yet, even as the Greeks revered honey, the shocking truth remained: they were often blind to the potential dangers of overconsumption or misuse. While honey can be beneficial, too much of it can lead to imbalances, especially in a society heavily reliant on natural sugars. The ancient Greeks, advocating moderation in many aspects of life, sometimes forgot this principle when it came to their beloved honey. Their adoration for this sweet substance often led to excessive indulgence, demonstrating how easy it is to be swayed by glamour and myth. As you ponder the science behind honey, consider how its attributes helped shape the practices of ancient healing. The glistening allure of honey masked the complexities of its use, leading to an intricate tapestry of belief, tradition, and sometimes misguided practices. While the Greeks celebrated honey for its sweetness and health benefits, they navigated a world filled with unknowns, where the line between remedy and risk was frequently blurred. With this scientific understanding of honey as a backdrop, it becomes essential to explore how specific ailments were treated with this golden liquid and the contradictions inherent in those practices. This journey will unveil the peculiarities of ancient medicine, revealing just how intertwined honey was with their approaches to health, healing, and the ever-elusive quest for balance. As we dive deeper into the realm of ancient Greek medicine, let's turn our attention to the specific ailments treated with honey and the curious practices surrounding its use. Imagine the ancient Greek healer, a figure adorned with laurel leaves, standing over a patient who has come seeking relief from a myriad of ailments. With a small pot of honey at the ready, this healer embodies both the wisdom of tradition and the uncertainty of medical knowledge. The juxtaposition of honey's reputation as a miracle cure against the bizarre and sometimes grotesque methods employed reveals the complexities of health practices during this era. Honey was commonly prescribed for ailments ranging from digestive troubles to respiratory issues. For instance, it was often mixed with warm water or herbal infusions and recommended for soothing sore throats or easing coughing fits. The glamorous image of a patient sipping on a honey-infused elixir, perhaps while reclining on a plush couch, evokes a sense of comfort. But the shocking reality is that many of these concoctions were based on trial and error, rather than scientific evidence, with the Greeks often relying on anecdotal experiences rather than controlled studies. This was a time when the understanding of anatomical and physiological processes was rudimentary at best, leading to a culture where health advice could be as unpredictable as the ingredients used. Consider how honey was also applied directly to wounds, a practice that highlighted both the benefits and limitations of its use. The ancient Greeks recognized honey's natural antibacterial properties and often applied it to cuts and abrasions to promote healing. However, the lack of sterilization and the potential for contamination created a dangerous gamble for many. Imagine a soldier returning from battle, a gash in his arm, and a healer hastily applying honey without considering the cleanliness of the environment. The romantic notion of honey as a healing balm is undercut by the reality that this treatment could just as easily lead to infection, leaving patients to wonder if they were receiving a remedy or courting disaster. This propensity for risk extended beyond physical wounds into the realm of internal ailments, where honey's use could be even more questionable. For instance, honey was commonly mixed with various animal products, such as blood or fat, in attempts to treat fever or restore energy. The idea of combining such ingredients may sound unappetizing today, yet in ancient Greece, these mixtures were often viewed as potent remedies. The shocking truth emerges: while honey held promise as a healer, it was often paired with substances that could lead to unintended consequences. The delicate balance of health was treated with a kind of reckless abandon, showcasing how the glamorous image of honey as a panacea was often at odds with the realities of medical practice. Moreover, honey was sometimes used as a sweetener in more elaborate concoctions meant to mask the bitterness of other ingredients. Imagine a healer preparing a potion meant to invigorate a patient, whisking honey in to create a palatable brew. The act of sweetening these mixtures provided comfort, but it also obscured the potential harshness of the underlying components. This practice reveals a fascinating contrast. While honey was lauded for its sweetness and medicinal qualities, the treatments could still carry significant risks, veering into territory that challenged the very notion of healing. The intertwining of honey with bizarre treatment methods leads us to question how the ancient Greeks justified their choices. The foundational belief in the healing power of nature allowed for a level of experimentation that, at times, veered into the absurd. Illness was often viewed as a disruption in the natural order, and honey, then, was celebrated as an agent to restore balance, even if the means of achieving that balance were dubious. The underlying philosophy was that health stemmed from harmonizing with natural elements, reinforcing honey's image as a divine gift. Yet, as you reflect on the paradoxical nature of honey's use, consider how this duality also played out in the broader context of ancient medical practices. The glamorous facade of honey as a healing solution often masked the prevailing ignorance regarding infection, hygiene, and the complexities of human health. While honey may have held genuine therapeutic potential, the methods of application were frequently steeped in superstition and tradition rather than scientific understanding. As we contemplate these practices, it becomes evident that honey was both celebrated and misunderstood, intertwining the sublime with the absurd. The story of honey's use in ancient Greek medicine invites you to consider how our understanding of health has evolved over time, leading to both progress and the occasional return to ancient wisdom. With this foundation laid, we can now turn our attention to the mythological significance of honey in Greek culture, exploring how the stories and symbols surrounding this sweet substance further shaped its revered status in the ancient world. As you wander through the rich tapestry of ancient Greek culture, the significance of honey stretches beyond the realm of medicine and into the enchanting world of mythology and legend. Imagine yourself in a vibrant amphitheater, surrounded by the sounds of actors reciting epic tales, where honey is often woven into the narratives of gods and heroes. This sweet substance, revered not only for its healing properties, but also for its symbolic weight, captures the imagination and paints a portrait of how the Greeks viewed their universe. The glamorous image of honey in myth tells one story, but the hidden truths lie in the deeper meanings and sometimes dark undertones that accompany these tales. In Greek mythology, honey is frequently associated with the gods, particularly with Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, and her daughter Persone. The connection between honey and these divine figures underscores the belief that honey was a gift from the heavens, an elixir imbued with sacred properties. Imagine the lush fields of the Elysian plains, where the gods feasted on ambrosia and nectar, believed to be a divine honey. This idyllic imagery paints honey as a substance that grants strength and immortality, reinforcing its glamorous reputation as more than just a food item, but as a symbol of divine favor. However, as you delve deeper into these stories, the shocking reality emerges that not all associations with honey are as sweet as they appear. For example, the myth of the Satyr-Marsyas or the tale of the honeyed ambrosia offers a cautionary note about the dangers of excess and hubris. Marsyas, a satyr who challenged Apollo to a musical contest, was known for his wild and reckless nature, often indulging in pleasures that led to his downfall. The use of honey in this story serves as a dual symbol. It represents the sweetness of creativity and inspiration, but it also warns against the perils of overindulgence. The tragedy of Marsyas is a stark reminder that the reverence for honey can morph into a dangerous obsession, revealing a hidden truth about the darker side of desire. This duality continues as you explore other myths where honey plays a role. The story of the honeyed honeycomb, often depicted in art and literature, symbolizes not only the bounty of nature but also the complexities of human experience. Honeycomb represents nourishment, but in many tales, it also serves as a reminder of the fragility of life. The glamorous allure of honey is contrasted with the transient nature of pleasure and the inevitable cycle of life and death. Consider how the sweetness of honeycomb can evoke joy, yet it is also a metaphor for the fleeting moments of happiness, emphasizing that nothing is permanent. Furthermore, honey's role in rituals and offerings to the gods speaks volumes about its perceived power. The Greeks believed that by offering honey in sacrifices, they could curry favor with the divine. Imagine the ceremonial tables laden with honey, fruits, and grains, the air thick with prayers and incense. The act of presenting honey as an offering elevates its status, transforming it into a conduit between mortals and the divine. It's a glamorous scene that highlights the reverence for honey as a sacred substance, yet it also exposes the shocking reality of ritualistic practices that often involved blood and sacrifice, juxtaposing sweetness with the starkness of life's darker elements. The cultural narratives surrounding honey illustrate how it served not only as a physical sustenance, but also as a symbol of deeper philosophical and spiritual truths. The Greeks intertwined their understanding of health, morality, and existence with honey, creating a rich dialogue about the relationship between the human experience and the forces of nature. The belief that honey was a divine gift bestowed upon humanity only enhanced its allure, drawing people into a web of myth and meaning that transcended mere nutrition. As you contemplate the myriad ways honey permeated ancient Greek culture, you may find yourself drawn to the complexities of these narratives. The glamorous image of honey as a divine nectar is beautifully counterbalanced by cautionary tales that warn against excess and hubris. It is this contrast that shapes the Greek understanding of health, morality, and the relationship between the gods and humanity. With this insight into the mythological significance of honey in mind, we can now turn our attention to the historical texts that document its esteemed position in medical literature. These texts, while reflective of the culture's reverence for honey, also reveal the limitations of their understanding, offering a glimpse into the evolving narrative of medicine and healing in ancient Greece. As you journey further into the heart of ancient Greek scholarship, let's explore how honey was documented in historical texts, revealing not only its esteemed status but also the intellectual underpinnings of medical knowledge at the time. Imagine yourself in a bustling scriptorium, surrounded by scholars and scribes diligently copying ancient scrolls. The air is filled with the scent of ink and parchment, and the soft sound of quills scratching on paper seems to weave a rich tapestry of knowledge. This is where the seeds of medical wisdom were planted, and honey, with its divine connotation and purported healing properties, figures prominently within these writings. The works of physicians like Hippocrates, father of medicine, serve as vital sources that illuminate how honey was perceived and utilized. In the Hippocratic corpus, honey is often recommended for various ailments, showcasing its position as a staple in medical practice. Imagine a physician meticulously recording observations and recommendations, urging the use of honey for its soothing qualities in treating coughs and digestive issues. The glamour of honey is palpable in these texts, painting it as a remedy that is both accessible and effective. Yet, juxtaposed with this admiration is the shocking reality that many of these medical writings reflect a limited understanding of the human body and disease. For instance, while honey is praised for its healing properties, the Hippocratic texts often lack the scientific precision we expect today. They document symptoms and treatments based on observation rather than empirical evidence. The writings do not provide rigorous explanations or a clear understanding of anatomy, leading to a medical framework that is as much about philosophy as it is about practice. Furthermore, the reverent tone found in these texts can lead to a glorified view of honey's capabilities, obscuring the potential dangers associated with its use. The application of honey in remedies often ignored the significance of dosage, quality, and purity. The glamorous image of honey as a universal cure-all is intertwined with the lack of rigorous testing and validation that characterizes modern medicine. Imagine a healer in ancient Greece, confidently prescribing honey-based mixtures without the benefit of scientific oversight, believing wholeheartedly in the efficacy of their remedies. The shocking truth is that without controlled studies, the effectiveness of these treatments remained largely unverified, and patients could easily find themselves victims of well-meaning but misguided practices. The writings of various philosophers also contribute to the narrative surrounding honey, linking its use to broader philosophical discussions about health and the nature of existence. For example, Philosophers like Galen later expanded on Hippocratic teachings, integrating honey into their medical theories. They pondered over its nutritional value and its role in achieving balance within the body. This blend of philosophy and medicine creates a glamorous image of honey as not just a healing agent, but as a key to understanding the universe. Yet, this philosophical embrace also reveals a shocking reality. Many medical practices were built on philosophical speculation rather than the empirical rigor that would come centuries later. Moreover, the texts also reflect how honey was intertwined with cultural practices, showcasing its role in diet and ritual. Honey was not only a medicinal substance, but also a staple in the Mediterranean diet. Imagine the bustling kitchens of ancient Greek households, where honey complemented bread and fruits, enriching the daily fare. The cultural significance of honey is evident in its inclusion in various recipes and dietary recommendations documented by ancient scholars. But amid the admiration for honey's role in both nutrition and medicine, one must consider the limitations of the Greeks' understanding of health. Many of the remedies that included honey lacked proper scientific backing, relying instead on tradition, anecdote, and the authority of respected figures. The glamorous narrative around honey often overshadowed the need for critical evaluation of its uses, blending the lines between health and belief and creating a culture that celebrated natural remedies while remaining blissfully unaware of their limitations. As you reflect on the wisdom encapsulated within these texts, you might find yourself contemplating how the ancient Greeks laid the groundwork for future medical understanding, even if their knowledge was tinged with misconceptions. The elegant prose surrounding honey in their writings captures the imagination, offering a glimpse into a world where the divine and the medicinal intertwined, shaping a culture that revered natural remedies. With this insight into honey's documented status in ancient medical literature, we can now turn our gaze outward to explore how other ancient cultures approached honey and its medicinal uses. This exploration will reveal both shared reverence and striking contrasts, showcasing the universal allure of honey across civilizations and the diverse beliefs that shaped its application in healing practices around the world. As you broaden your perspective beyond the borders of ancient Greece, let's embark on a comparative journey through other ancient cultures that shared a similar reverence for honey and its medicinal properties. Picture yourself traversing the vast landscapes of the ancient world from the sun-kissed banks of the Nile to the bustling markets of the Indus Valley. In each of these civilizations, honey emerges as a cherished substance, woven into the fabric of daily life, medicine, and spirituality. The glamorous image of honey transcends cultural boundaries, but as we explore, we'll uncover fascinating contrasts and insights that reveal the complexities of its use. In ancient Egypt, honey was not only a staple in the diet, but also a critical component of their medical practices. The Egyptians recognized honey's antimicrobial properties and utilized it in healing salves to treat wounds and infections. Imagine a skilled Egyptian physician preparing a mixture of honey and various herbs, perhaps adding a touch of resin or oil to create a potent remedy. The glamour of honey in Egypt is evident in its association with the afterlife. It was often found in tombs as part of burial offerings, believed to sustain the deceased in the afterlife. This underscores honey's status as a sacred substance, paralleling the reverence found in Greek culture. However, just as in Greece, the use of honey in ancient Egypt was steeped in practices that might seem peculiar to the modern eye. While honey was celebrated for its healing properties, the Egyptians often used it in conjunction with animal products and various plants, sometimes with bizarre combinations that could lead to unpredictable outcomes. For instance, honey was mixed with things like vinegar or even human remains in some medical concoctions, revealing a shocking reality beneath the glamorous persona. The willingness to experiment with such ingredients highlights a cultural belief in the power of natural substances, even when they may not have fully grasped the implications of their combinations. Traveling east to ancient China, we find yet another rich tradition of honey use. In traditional Chinese medicine, honey has been utilized for thousands of years, celebrated for its nourishing and healing capabilities. The ancient texts, such as the Shenong Bencao Jing, detail honey's role in treating coughs, digestive ailments, and skin issues. Imagine a traditional Chinese apothecary, where honey is skillfully blended with ginseng or chrysanthemum, epitomizing the elegance and complexity of Eastern herbal practices. The glamorous view of honey in China emphasizes balance, its sweet nature harmonizing with the principles of yin and yang, fostering health and well-being. Yet, the shocking reality also exists in the Chinese approach, particularly concerning the use of honey in medicinal recipes. The ancient understanding of the body was based on a system of energy channels and balance, which sometimes led to the incorporation of honey into remedies that might appear unusual today. For example, honey was occasionally used in concoctions that included animal parts, giving rise to mixtures that were as much about belief as about efficacy. The blending of honey with such ingredients reflects a cultural tapestry that celebrates nature while simultaneously grappling with the complexities of health. In the Americas, indigenous cultures also recognize the value of honey, particularly in the form of honey from native bees. The Mayans, for instance, utilized honey not just as a sweetener, but as a vital ingredient in various medicinal remedies. Imagine a Mayan healer, steeped in tradition, mixing honey with local herbs to create tinctures that addressed ailments ranging from skin infections to respiratory issues. The glamour of honey in this context lies in its deep connection to the earth and the natural world, illustrating a belief that wellness stemmed from harmony with nature. However, similar to other cultures, the practices surrounding honey were not without their peculiarities. The Mayans, while knowing the benefits of honey, also engaged in rituals that invoked the spirits of nature and the gods, intertwining medicine with spirituality. This blending of the sacred and the practical can present a confusing picture of health practices where the lines between divine intervention and natural remedy are often blurred. As you reflect on these diverse practices, you may find that honey serves as a common thread that binds cultures together, yet each society has uniquely shaped its understanding and application. The glamorous allure of honey, with its sweetness and healing properties, is universally acknowledged. However, beneath this shared reverence lies a tapestry of practices and beliefs that reveal the complexities and contradictions inherent in ancient medicine. This exploration of honey across civilizations sets the stage for understanding how its reputation evolved over time and how these historical perceptions continue to shape modern beliefs. With this comparative insight into honey's role in various ancient cultures, we can now turn our attention to the glamorous illusion of health that honey helped create in ancient Greece, examining how it shaped societal norms and expectations regarding wellness and beauty. As we navigate the societal landscape of ancient Greece, it becomes clear that honey was not merely a substance to be consumed, it played a pivotal role in constructing a glamorous illusion of health and beauty. Imagine yourself in a bustling Athenian agora, where merchants proudly display their wares and citizens engage in spirited discussions about philosophy, politics, and of course health. In this vibrant hub of culture and commerce, honey occupies a prominent place in the narrative of well-being and aesthetic appeal. The allure of honey transcends its medicinal properties, shaping the ideals of health that permeated Greek society. Honey's role in creating this glamorous image is evident in its incorporation into the daily diet and lifestyle. It was often featured in the meals of both the wealthy and the common folk, symbolizing not just nourishment, but also abundance and status. Picture a lavish banquet, where honey drizzled over fruits and pastries serves as a centerpiece, embodying a luxurious lifestyle. The very act of consuming honey became a statement of health and prosperity, reinforcing the belief that those who indulged in its sweetness were partaking in something divine. However, the shocking reality behind this glamorous image is that the ideals of health in ancient Greece were often steeped in unrealistic expectations and misconceptions. While honey was indeed nutritious and packed with energy, the Greeks' understanding of health was influenced more by philosophy than science. The ideal of physical beauty and wellness was often tied to societal status, where the wealthy could afford to indulge in honey and other luxuries, creating a divide in health perceptions. This class-based approach to wellness established a hierarchy that equated health with wealth, leading to a skewed understanding of what it meant to be truly healthy. Moreover, the Greeks placed significant emphasis on balance and moderation, yet this philosophy sometimes clashed with the extravagant use of honey in their diet. Imagine a wealthy patron advocating for moderation, while simultaneously indulging in lavish meals overflowing with honeyed delicacies. The irony is palpable. The societal ideals of health were often undermined by the very practices that sought to uphold them. This glamorous illusion of well-being was often more about appearances than genuine health, leading to a culture where the aesthetic of wellness sometimes overshadowed actual health outcomes. In addition to its role in diet, honey was also celebrated for its beauty-enhancing properties, further entrenching its status in the cultural zeitgeist. It was common for Greek women to use honey in beauty rituals, believing it could enhance their skin and hair. Imagine a scene where women gathered, mixing honey with olive oil and herbs to create luxurious treatments for their skin, believing that this sweet elixir could grant them beauty as radiant as the goddess Aphrodite herself. The glamorous association between honey and beauty created a fade that linked physical attractiveness with moral and social virtue, reinforcing the idea that those who embraced honey were not only healthy but also virtuous. Yet, the shocking truth is that the beauty ideals of ancient Greece were often unattainable and reinforced by unrealistic standards. As women slathered honey on their skin, they were engaging in a practice that, while potentially beneficial, was also riddled with societal pressure to conform to a specific image of beauty. The sweet promise of honey as a beauty enhancer contributed to a culture that idolized certain physical attributes, creating an environment where self-worth became intricately tied to appearance. Furthermore, the glamorous narrative surrounding honey also involved its use as an offering to the gods, further entwining its status with societal norms. In various rituals, honey was presented as a symbol of gratitude and respect, reinforcing its sacred nature. Imagine the beautifully adorned altars where honey was poured out as a sacrifice, connecting the community's health to divine favor. This act of devotion underscored the belief that physical wellness was intertwined with spiritual health, weaving a complex narrative that elevated honey to an almost mythic status. As you reflect on the impact of honey in shaping societal norms, it becomes evident that the substance played a multifaceted role in constructing the Greek ideals of health and beauty. The glamorous image of honey as a health elixir and beauty enhancer created a cultural framework that celebrated its sweetness while obscuring the underlying pressures and misconceptions that accompanied these ideals. With this exploration of honey's societal implications in ancient Greece, we can now turn our attention to the hidden dangers that accompanied its use. While the sweetness of honey is alluring, the reality of its application in ancient medicine often reveals a darker side where the risks taken in the name of health and beauty might lead to unintended consequences. This examination will peel back the layers of glamour to uncover the stark truths about honey that ancient Greeks may have overlooked. As we peel back the layers of glamour surrounding honey in ancient Greek culture, it's time to confront the hidden dangers that accompanied its widespread use in medicine and beauty practices. Imagine a scene where a patient, hopeful for a cure, approaches a healer with a serious ailment, only to find honey at the center of the remedy. While honey was revered for its healing properties, the shocking reality is that its application was often fraught with risks and misconceptions that could undermine the very health it aimed to restore. The first and perhaps most significant danger of honey in ancient Greek medicine was the lack of standardization and quality control. Picture yourself in a marketplace where jars of honey are sold, each vendor boasting of their product's purity and effectiveness. In reality, without modern testing methods, the actual quality of honey could vary dramatically. Some honey might be pure and beneficial, while others could be contaminated with harmful substances or mixed with inferior products. The absence of regulatory measures meant that a patient could be consuming honey that did little to aid their condition, or worse, introduced new health risks. One particularly alarming risk associated with honey consumption is its potential to harbor botulism spores, especially in unprocessed or raw forms. This was a reality that ancient Greeks were blissfully unaware of. Imagine a mother giving honey to her infant, believing it to be a wholesome treat, only to unknowingly expose the child to a dangerous toxin. The glamour of honey's reputation as a natural remedy creates a stark contrast with the hidden risks it posed, particularly for vulnerable populations like infants, who are at greater risk of botulism. Moreover, the use of honey in concoctions that combined it with various plant and animal products created another layer of complexity. The Greeks often believed that mixing honey with certain ingredients would enhance its healing properties, yet this was not always the case. For instance, honey mixed with animal fats or blood was sometimes prescribed for fever or energy restoration. While some combinations may have had merit, others could easily lead to adverse effects, such as adverse reactions or infections. Imagine a patient eagerly consuming a mixture, unaware that the very treatment designed to heal them could have dangerous consequences. The shocking reality of misguided remedies underscores how glamorous intentions could be overshadowed by poor medical practices. In addition to the physical risks, the societal pressures surrounding beauty and health further complicate honey's narrative. Ancient Greek women, eager to achieve the idealized standards of beauty, often turned to honey for skin treatments, believing it could enhance their allure. However, the danger lies in the fact that many of these beauty rituals were conducted under unhygienic conditions, with little regard for cleanliness or potential contaminants. Imagine a woman applying a honey-based mask, blissfully unaware that the ingredients she mixed may not have been safe or sterile. This juxtaposition of a sweet, nurturing practice and the reality of improper application reveals a deep disconnect between intention and outcome. Additionally, the belief in honey's divine properties sometimes led to a misplaced sense of security. The Greeks often attributed miraculous healing powers to honey, creating an illusion that it could cure all ailments without the need for thorough medical examination. This perception could lead to a dangerous reliance on honey as a treatment, causing individuals to forego more effective or necessary medical interventions. Picture a patient who, believing in the power of honey, refuses to seek proper medical care, hoping instead that a jar of honey will suffice. This reliance underscores how the glamorous image of honey as a one-stop cure could have dire consequences for individuals' health. Moreover, The social dynamics surrounding honey's use can also be examined through the lens of class and access. While honey was a beloved substance, not everyone had equal access to its benefits. Wealthy individuals could afford to purchase the finest honey, often used in elaborate remedies and beauty treatments, reinforcing the connection between health, beauty, and social status. On the other hand, those of lower socioeconomic status might have resorted to inferior or adulterated honey, missing out on the supposed benefits. This disparity highlights the irony of honey as a universal remedy. While it held the promise of healing, access to high-quality honey and the knowledge of its proper use was often limited by class divisions. As we uncover these hidden dangers, it becomes clear that while honey was celebrated for its sweetness and healing properties, the reality of its application was often more complex and fraught with risks. The alluring narrative of honey in ancient Greek culture, where health and beauty seemed within reach, is contrasted by the potential perils that accompanied its use. With this exploration of the darker side of honey, we can now shift our focus to the decline of honey's medicinal reputation as medical knowledge evolved. This transition marks a significant turning point in how honey was perceived and utilized in the realm of health, revealing the ever-changing landscape of medicine and the implications for ancient practices. As we traverse the evolving landscape of ancient medicine, it becomes evident that honey's status as a revered medicinal substance began to wane as new medical knowledge and practices emerged. Imagine a bustling workshop where scholars and physicians gathered, debating the latest theories and discoveries, eager to advance their understanding of health and disease. This intellectual atmosphere marked a shift away from traditional remedies, including honey, showcasing the complexities of evolving medical paradigms and the societal perceptions that accompanied them. The decline of honey's medicinal reputation can be traced back to the rise of Hippocratic and Galenic medicine, which emphasized observation, dissection, and a more systematic approach to health. With the advent of these scientific methodologies, ancient physicians began to question long-standing practices and beliefs, including the efficacy of honey as a cure-all. Picture a physician, once devoted to the prescriptions of honey, now turning to empirical evidence and experimentation to guide their treatment choices. This transition underscores the glamorous illusion of honey as a universal remedy, which began to crumble in the face of emerging scientific inquiry. As these new ideas took root, the once celebrated role of honey in healing became overshadowed by a growing emphasis on herbal medicine and the exploration of more complex pharmacological compounds. Imagine a pharmacy filled with various plant-based remedies, where healers turn their backs on honey, seeking instead to harness the active ingredients of other substances. The shifting narrative surrounding honey reflected a larger trend of medical advancement, as practitioners sought to refine their understanding of the human body and its ailments. However, this evolution also reveals a shocking reality. The transition away from honey was not solely based on scientific advancements but involved a cultural shift that prioritized novelty over tradition. As new remedies and treatments emerged, honey was often dismissed as an outdated relic of old-fashioned medicine. The glamorous status it once held at the forefront of healing was replaced by a fascination with the exotic and the untested. The irony is palpable. In their quest for progress, ancient physicians may have overlooked the potential benefits of honey and its historical significance in healing practices. Additionally, the rise of pharmaceutical practices further complicated honey's standing. The emergence of apothecaries and the preparation of complex medicinal mixtures led to a landscape where honey was no longer the go-to remedy it once was. Picture a bustling apothecary where vials of tinctures and potions took center stage, shifting the focus away from simple, natural remedies. The allure of modern medicine, with its promises of precision and efficacy, contributed to the decline of honey's role in healing, creating a divide between traditional practices and the emerging medical establishment. Yet, as honey's use in medicine began to diminish, it maintained its presence in other facets of life. Honey continued to be celebrated in culinary traditions and rituals, evidence that while its medicinal reputation might have waned, its cultural significance remained intact. Imagine the vibrant feasts where honey still graced tables, drizzled over pastries or mixed into wines, retaining its esteemed status as a symbol of abundance and sweetness. This duality highlights how honey became a cultural artifact, embodying the complexities of ancient Greek society even as its medicinal applications evolved. The decline of honey's medicinal reputation also opened the door to contemporary skepticism about the efficacy of ancient remedies. As modern medicine gained traction, the notions of health and wellness shifted dramatically, often leading to a dismissive attitude toward time-honored practices. This casts a shadow on honey's historical role, reducing it to a mere culinary staple rather than a revered medicinal elixir. The shocking truth here is that while modern science has brought tremendous advancements in healthcare, it has sometimes done so at the expense of wisdom gleaned from centuries of tradition. As we reflect on the decline of honey's medicinal status, it is crucial to consider how these historical shifts resonate in our contemporary understanding of health. The lessons learned from ancient practices, including the use of honey, continue to shape modern perspectives, inviting us to revisit the wisdom of the past while integrating it with current knowledge. With this understanding in mind, we can now explore the modern rediscoveries of honey's benefits in contemporary medicine. As science takes a renewed interest in the properties of honey, we will uncover how the ancient wisdom surrounding this golden elixir is being reevaluated and integrated into today's health practices, bridging the gap between past and present. As we transition into the contemporary landscape of medicine, it is fascinating to observe how honey, once relegated to the annals of ancient remedies, is experiencing a renaissance in scientific interest and application. Imagine a modern laboratory, bustling with researchers clad in white coats, carefully examining the chemical properties of honey, employing advanced techniques to unravel its secrets. This renewed fascination underscores a compelling narrative. The ancient wisdom surrounding honey is being revisited and validated through contemporary science, revealing a bridge between past practices and current understandings of health. Recent studies have illuminated honey's potent antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, reigniting interest in its medicinal applications. For example, medical research has demonstrated that certain types of honey, such as manuka, possess remarkable antibacterial effects, making them effective in treating wounds and preventing infections. Picture yourself in a clinical setting where honey is used as a natural alternative in wound care, showcasing its ability to promote healing and reduce scarring. The shock of realizing that this ancient remedy is finding its way back into medical practice is exhilarating, as it highlights the potential of nature's ingredients in modern healthcare. In addition to its wound-healing properties, honey's role in managing coughs and sore throats has also gained renewed attention. Research has shown that honey can be as effective as some over-the-counter cough syrups, providing a natural alternative for those seeking relief. Imagine parents reaching for a jar of honey instead of a bottle of medicine, allowing their children to benefit from a sweet remedy that has stood the test of time. The glamorous image of honey as a gentle, effective treatment for common ailments resonates with today's consumers, fostering a resurgence of interest in natural remedies. Furthermore, honey is being explored for its antioxidant properties, which play a crucial role in combating oxidative stress and promoting overall health. Modern nutritional science recognizes the importance of antioxidants in reducing the risk of chronic diseases, and honey emerges as a valuable contributor to a healthy diet. Consider the shift in dietary practices as people increasingly seek to incorporate honey into their meals not just as a sweetener, but as a functional food that offers health benefits. This transformation is a testament to honey's versatility and its ability to adapt to contemporary health trends. However, as this renewed appreciation for honey unfolds, it is essential to approach its use with the same caution that should accompany any natural remedy. The shocking reality is that while honey offers many benefits, it is not a panacea, and its application must be guided by a solid understanding of dosage and quality. Modern consumers must be discerning about the types of honey they choose, ensuring they opt for high-quality, pure products to maximize their health benefits. The glamour of honey is matched by its potential risks if misused or consumed inappropriately. Additionally, the resurgence of honey in modern healthcare raises questions about the balance between traditional practices and contemporary scientific understanding. As researchers uncover honey's potential, it is crucial to integrate these findings with rigorous scientific evidence to promote safe and effective applications. Imagine the collaborations between herbalists, nutritionists, and medical professionals as they work together to craft guidelines for incorporating honey into health regimens. This collaborative approach honors the wisdom of ancient traditions while ensuring that contemporary practices are grounded in scientific evidence. As you reflect on these developments, it becomes clear that honey is not merely a relic of the past but a dynamic substance that continues to inspire curiosity and innovation in the field of medicine. The journey from ancient Greek healers applying honey to wounds to modern researchers exploring its potential in clinical settings illustrates how knowledge evolves, while honoring the wisdom of the past. With this understanding of honey's resurgence in modern medicine, we can now turn our attention to its legacy in both ancient and contemporary practices. This exploration will reveal the lasting impact of honey on health and healing, concluding with a reflection on its role today and how it continues to inspire new generations seeking natural solutions for their well-being. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of honey in both ancient and modern practices, it becomes apparent that this golden substance has woven itself into the very fabric of human health and well-being. From the bustling markets of ancient Greece to today's cutting-edge laboratories, honey has maintained its status as a revered remedy, bridging the gap between centuries of tradition and contemporary science. Imagine the threads of history intertwining each era building upon the last, reaffirming the belief that nature holds powerful solutions for human ailments. In the ancient world, honey was seen not just as a food but as a symbol of vitality, healing, and connection to the divine. The Greeks, Egyptians and countless other civilizations revered honey for its nourishing and medicinal qualities, crafting elaborate narrative that elevated its status to that of a sacred substance. Picture the ancient rituals where honey was poured over altars, offered to deities and celebrated in poetry, each act reflecting a profound respect for the natural world and its gifts. This cultural reverence laid the groundwork for the recognition of honey as a valuable remedy in the realm of health. As we transition into modernity, honey's legacy has evolved but remains deeply rooted in the collective consciousness. The resurgence of interest in natural remedies has prompted a re-evaluation of honey's historical applications. Today, consumers are increasingly inclined to seek out holistic solutions, looking beyond pharmaceuticals to the age-old wisdom encapsulated in substances like honey. Imagine a new generation of health-conscious individuals, armed with knowledge about the benefits of honey, choosing to incorporate it into their diets as a part of a balanced lifestyle. This revival reflects a cultural shift that honors the past while embracing the future. One of the most significant aspects of honey's legacy is its versatility. Today, honey is not only consumed as a sweetener but also featured in skincare products, herbal remedies and wellness supplements. The glamorous image of honey extends beyond the kitchen, permeating beauty routines and health regimens. Picture the shelves lined with products boasting honey as a key ingredient for masks that promise radiant skin and cough syrups that offer soothing relief. This transformation showcases how honey's reputation has been revitalized, adapting to the needs and preferences of modern consumers while drawing upon its rich history. Moreover, honey's role in sustainable practices cannot be overlooked. As more people strive to live in harmony with the environment, the importance of supporting local beekeepers and sustainable honey production becomes increasingly vital. Imagine bustling farmers' markets where artisans proudly sell locally sourced honey, highlighting the ecological importance of bees in pollination and biodiversity. The connection between honey and environmental stewardship emphasizes the need to protect bee populations, which are crucial for maintaining healthy ecosystems. This awareness adds another layer to honey's legacy, intertwining health with environmental consciousness. Yet, as we celebrate honey's vibrant legacy, it's essential to remain vigilant about its use and the potential risks associated with its consumption. The lessons learned from ancient practices remind us that while honey possesses remarkable qualities, it is not without its caveats. Awareness about the quality of honey, its proper application, and the importance of moderation must continue to shape our understanding and use of this natural remedy. The glamorous allure of honey should be coupled with a responsible approach that honors both tradition and contemporary knowledge. As we conclude this exploration of honey's multifaceted legacy, we find ourselves at a crossroads where ancient wisdom meets modern understanding. The journey from the ancient Greeks who revered honey as a divine gift to today's holistic health enthusiasts illustrates the continuum of knowledge and the enduring impact of this sweet substance on humanity. Honey serves as a reminder of the natural world's power to heal, nourish, and inspire, bridging the past with the present in a way that resonates deeply within our collective consciousness. With this reflection on honey's legacy, we can now begin to wind down our exploration, drawing upon the themes and insights gathered throughout this journey. We will take a moment to appreciate the sweet essence of honey and its place in the tapestry of human history and health, crafting a gentle farewell to the world we have traversed together. As we draw closer to the end of our exploration, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound journey we've embarked upon regarding honey, a substance that has transcended time, culture, and medical practice. Imagine standing at a crossroads, surrounded by the echoes of ancient Greeks discussing the healing properties of honey, the whispers of Egyptian healers preparing their remedies, and the modern scientists in laboratories unraveling its mysteries. Each path taken has contributed to a rich narrative that illustrates not only the allure of honey, but also its complex relationship with humanity. Throughout history, honey has been a symbol of nourishment, health, and the divinity golden thread woven into the fabric of human experience. From the lavish banquets of affluent Greeks who drizzled honey over their fruits to the humble homes of ordinary citizens mixing it into their daily meals, honey has brought people together in celebration and healing. This communal aspect of honey's legacy is particularly striking. It's a reminder of how food can serve as a bridge between individuals and communities, offering comfort, sustenance, and a sense of belonging. Yet, this narrative is not without its contradictions. As we've seen, the very same honey that embodies sweetness and healing also carries with it the shadows of misunderstanding and risk. The ancient Greeks' confidence in honey's miraculous qualities often led to practices that, while well-meaning, could endanger health. Similarly, modern consumers must navigate the complexities of quality and application to truly reap honey's benefits. This juxtaposition invites us to question our relationship with natural remedies and to approach them with both reverence and caution. Moreover, honey's connection to sustainability and environmental awareness adds another layer to its legacy. As honey enthusiasts and health advocates recognize the critical role that bees play in our ecosystems, they are also advocating for practices that protect these vital creatures. The resurgence of interest in local, sustainable honey production reflects a growing consciousness about the impact of our choices on the environment. Imagine communities rallying together to support beekeepers, fostering a culture that not only values health but also prioritizes ecological stewardship. This shift speaks to a broader understanding of health that encompasses not just individual well-being but also the health of our planet. As we consider the modern rediscovery of honey's benefits, it's essential to acknowledge the importance of research and the scientific validation of traditional practices. The renewed interest in honey as a natural remedy illustrates the dynamic interplay between ancient wisdom and contemporary health practices. Picture researchers celebrating findings that confirm the efficacy of honey in wound healing, cough relief, and its antioxidant properties. This convergence of knowledge honors the past, while paving the way for future applications, suggesting that the exploration of honey's potential is far from over. In closing, honey is more than just a sweet substance. It is a symbol of resilience, connection, and the ever-evolving understanding of health. The journey we've taken through time from the ancient uses and myths surrounding honey to its modern applications and environmental significance reveals a narrative rich with insights. As we reflect on these themes, we are reminded that honey serves as both a product of nature and a manifestation of human experience, blending the sweetness of life with the complexities of health. As you drift into your own reflections, take a moment to appreciate the legacy of honey in your life. Perhaps you'll find inspiration in its historical significance, a new understanding of its benefits, or a commitment to supporting sustainable practices. Whatever the case, let the essence of honey linger in your thoughts, a gentle reminder of the sweetness that can be found in nature and the interconnectedness of all living things. With this, we gently wind down our journey into the world of honey, leaving you with the soft echoes of its history and its enduring promise. May the stories we've shared tonight offer you comfort, curiosity, and a sweet dream as you close your eyes and let the warmth of honey's legacy envelop you. As we approach the final moments of our exploration into the enchanting world of honey, let's take this opportunity to pause and reflect on the myriad insights we've gathered along the way. Imagine the threads of history weaving a rich tapestry, each strand representing a different aspect of honey's story, from its revered status in ancient Greece to its modern resurgence in the realm of health and wellness. This journey has illuminated how honey transcends its role as merely a sweetener, embodying deeper meanings that resonate with our collective human experience. Throughout our exploration, we've marveled at honey's glamorous allure, its historical significance, and its diverse applications across different cultures. Picture the ancient Greeks, who not only consumed honey but also infused it with mythological significance, seeing it as a gift from the gods. Their reverence for honey was not merely about taste, it was a profound acknowledgement of nature's ability to heal and sustain life. Their practices, driven by a blend of observation and tradition, remind us that the past shapes our understanding of health, even as we grapple with its limitations and flaws. In juxtaposition, we confronted the shocking realities of medical practices that often misused honey or relied on it without a full understanding of its properties. The ancient belief in honey's miraculous powers, while imbued with a sense of wonder, also led to some questionable applications. The lessons from this era continue to resonate today as we navigate the complexities of natural remedies in a modern context. Just as the Greeks balanced their understanding of health with their cultural beliefs, we too must find equilibrium in our relationship with natural substances like honey. The resurgence of honey in contemporary medicine further underscores its enduring legacy. As scientists rigorously examine its properties, we are witnessing a revival of interest that honors the wisdom of those who came before us. Imagine the excitement in laboratories as researchers uncover the potential of honey to heal wounds and soothe ailments, validating practices that have stood the test of time. This intersection of ancient knowledge and modern science creates a continuum that enriches our understanding of health and invites us to embrace a holistic approach to well-being. Moreover, honey's relationship with sustainability and environmental consciousness serves as a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness with nature. As we support local beekeepers and advocate for the protection of bee populations, we also contribute to a broader narrative about the health of our planet. Picture communities rallying together to create awareness about the importance of bees in our ecosystems, fostering a culture that values both health and environmental stewardship. This collective effort enriches the legacy of honey, framing it as not only a source of nourishment but also a symbol of our responsibility to protect the natural world. As we prepare to conclude our journey, let's reflect on the sweetness of life embodied in honey. It invites us to savor not only its flavors, but also the stories it carries and the connections it fosters. The narrative of honey from ancient practices to modern rediscoveries reminds us that there is wisdom to be found in nature, waiting to be explored and celebrated. So as you settle into a peaceful state, let the essence of honey linger in your mind. Allow its rich history, its healing properties, and its connection to nature to inspire you. Whether you find joy in savoring a drizzle of honey on your toast, incorporating it into your wellness routine, or supporting sustainable beekeeping practices, may you carry a piece of this journey with you. Now, as the day fades into night, may the sweetness of honey fill your dreams, reminding you of the beauty found in nature and the bonds that connect us all. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey through the fascinating history of honey.